presented by Soundlibra.com. Explore more titles via the link in the description or at Soundlibra.com. Welcome to Raise Kind Kids, the podcast dedicated to nurturing empathy and compassion.
And I'm Lisa. We're so excited to begin this journey with you. Before we jump in, just a quick heads up that while we're discussing child development and emotional well-being, this isn't medical or psychological advice, so be sure to consult with a professional for your specific needs.
Exactly. In this first episode, we're laying the absolute groundwork. We're talking about the very foundation of what it means to raise kind kids. Empathy. Why does it matter so much? What exactly is it?
That's right, Alex. It can sound like a big abstract concept, but we're going to break it down into understandable pieces. Think about it. We all want our children to grow into happy, well-adjusted adults who can form meaningful connections. Empathy is the secret sauce for that.
It truly is. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of another person. It's like putting yourself in someone else's shoes. When a child can understand how another person is feeling, they're much more likely to respond with kindness and care.
So it's not just about being nice, it's about understanding why and how someone else feels. It's the root of compassion.
Exactly. And it's something that can be nurtured from the very beginning. So why is empathy so critical? Well, for starters, it's the bedrock of healthy relationships. Children who develop empathy are better at making friends, resolving conflicts peacefully, and working cooperatively.
That makes perfect sense. If you can understand that your friend is sad because you took their toy, you're less likely to do it again. And you're more likely to feel a pang of, oh, maybe I shouldn't have done that.
Precisely. Beyond relationships, empathy also fosters a sense of community and social responsibility. When kids understand the struggles or joys of others, they're more likely to want to help and contribute positively to the world around them. This is crucial for building a more compassionate society.
It's like a ripple effect, isn't it? One act of understanding leads to another, spreading kindness.
A beautiful ripple effect. And it's not just about external benefits. Developing empathy also contributes to a child's own emotional intelligence and well-being. They become better at understanding their own feelings and managing them. Imagine a child who can say, "I'm feeling frustrated right now because X happened," instead of just resorting to a meltdown.
That's a skill many adults are still working on. So, how do we even start cultivating this in our little ones?
It begins with connection and modeling. From the earliest stages, even with infants, responding to their needs with warmth and understanding signals to them that their feelings are valid. When you soothe a crying baby, you're teaching them about emotional regulation and that they are not alone in their distress.
So, even those early moments of comforting and recognizing their cues are teaching them about feelings and connection.
Absolutely. As they grow, we can start to verbalize our own feelings and encourage them to do the same. Saying things like, "I feel a little tired today," or "I'm so happy you're helping me bake cookies," helps them build a vocabulary for emotions. And when you see them interact with others, point out how others might be feeling.
Like, look, your sister is smiling. She looks really happy that you shared your toy with her.
Exactly. You're helping them make that connection between an action and another person's emotional response. This builds their capacity to understand perspectives different from their own.
That sounds amazing. Because it's easy to hear empathy is important, but then the question is, okay, what do I do?
And we'll cover that. We'll explore active listening, how to use positive language, navigating tricky emotional situations like tantrums, and even getting kids involved in volunteerism and understanding different cultures. We'll look at building strong friendships and addressing bullying.
It sounds like a comprehensive guide to raising children who not only understand themselves, but also the world and people around them with kindness.
That's the goal. We want to equip parents and caregivers with practical, actionable strategies. Empathy isn't just a trait some kids have and others don't. It's a skill that can be actively taught and strengthened. And the earlier we start, the more profound the impact.
So, to recap for our listeners, empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of others. It's foundational for strong relationships, social responsibility, and a child's own emotional well being. And it can be nurtured from infancy through consistent connection, modeling, and by helping children recognize and verbalize emotions in themselves and others.
Perfectly summarized, Lisa. This foundation of empathy is what we will build upon throughout this series. It's the essential starting point for raising children who lead with kindness.
We can't wait for you to join us next time.
Next episode, building blocks of compassion, active listening, and emotional recognition. Welcome back. Last time we covered why empathy matters. Now let's tackle the building blocks of compassion.
That's right, Alex. Last episode was all about the why, and now we're moving firmly into the how. Because knowing empathy is important is one thing, but knowing how to demonstrate it to our children and help them develop it themselves is where the real transformation happens. So, active listening and emotional recognition. Let's break those down.
Exactly. Let's start with active listening. When we talk about listening to children, it's easy to think of just hearing their words. But active listening goes so much deeper. It's about being fully present and engaged when your child is speaking. It's about showing them through your body language and your genuine attention that what they have to say is important, that their feelings matter.
So, it's not just waiting for our turn to speak or thinking about our grocery list while they're telling us about their day. It's about really tuning in. What does that look like in practice, Alex?
Picture this. Your child is upset because their block tower fell down. Instead of immediately saying, "Oh, don't worry, build it again," or "It's just blocks," active listening means getting down on their level, making eye contact, and really focusing on them. You might nod your head. You might put your hand gently on their arm. And critically, you're listening not just to the words, but to the tone of their voice, their facial expressions, their body language.
So, it's a whole body approach to listening. What kind of verbal responses are best then? Because I know I sometimes jump to solutions too quickly.
That's a common trap. With active listening, instead of jumping to fix it, we reflect back what we hear. You might say something like, "Wow, it sounds like you're really frustrated because your tower tumbled down." Or, "It looks like you're feeling really sad that it didn't stay up." This is called validating their feelings. You're not agreeing that the situation is a disaster, but you are acknowledging and accepting their emotional experience.
Validation. I like that. It's like saying, I hear you, and I understand that this is how you're feeling right now. That must make a child feel so much more seen and understood.
Precisely. And it's a powerful tool for teaching them about their own emotions too. This leads us directly to the second building block, emotional recognition. Children, especially younger ones, often have big feelings but don't have the words to describe them. They might feel angry, sad, disappointed, or even overwhelmed, and it comes out as a tantrum or general fussiness.
Yes, it's like a storm brewing inside, and they don't quite know what to do with it. So, how do we help them name those feelings?
This is where our own calm presence and validation are key. When we actively listen and reflect their feelings, we're giving them the vocabulary. By saying, "It looks like you're feeling angry because your brother took your toy," you are gently introducing the word angry in context. You're helping them label the sensation they're experiencing.
So, we're essentially acting as their emotional translator, at least in the beginning stages.
That's a great way to put it, Lisa. And it's important to remember that our own emotional responses play a huge role here. If we get flustered or angry when our child is having a meltdown, that teaches them that big emotions are something to be feared or suppressed. But if we can remain calm, acknowledge their feelings without judgment, and help them name those feelings, we're teaching them emotional regulation.
That makes so much sense. Our reaction is part of their learning. So if my child is crying and I take a deep breath and say, I can see you're very sad right now, that's teaching them that sadness is okay and that it has a name.
Exactly. And this isn't just for toddlers. This applies to school-age children too. They might not have tantrums, but they can still feel a deep sense of injustice, disappointment, or anxiety. Active listening and emotional recognition help them navigate these complex feelings. It builds their emotional intelligence, which is fundamental to empathy. When you can understand and name your own feelings, it becomes much easier to imagine and understand what someone else might be feeling.
It's like building a sturdy foundation for their emotional well-being. And you mentioned earlier that our reaction shapes theirs. Can you elaborate on that a bit more? How do our own emotional responses influence our children?
Think of it like modeling. Children are constantly watching us. If we tend to dismiss our own feelings or yours, they might learn to do the same. For example, if you stub your toe and say, "Oh, I'm fine, no big deal," even though you're clearly in pain, your child learns that expressing discomfort is unnecessary. Conversely, if you acknowledge it, perhaps saying, "Ouch, that really hurt," you're showing them it's okay to recognize and express physical or emotional pain.
So, by being open and honest about our own emotions in an age-appropriate way, we're giving them permission to do the same?
Precisely. It's about creating a safe space for feelings. This also includes celebrating positive emotions. When your child is beaming with pride after achieving something small, actively listen to their excited chatter about it. Recognize that joy. Wow, you look so happy because you finally figured out that puzzle. Labeling those positive emotions reinforces them and helps children understand the full spectrum of human feelings.
This really ties back to the idea of helping them recognize and name their emotions. It's a continuous process. So, to recap what we've covered, active listening is about being fully present, using our body and voice to show we're engaged, and reflecting back what we hear to validate our child's experience. Emotional recognition is about helping our children label their feelings, and this is significantly influenced by our own calm and honest emotional modeling.
That's a perfect summary, Lisa. By practicing active listening and helping our children recognize and name their emotions, we are giving them invaluable tools. We're building their emotional literacy, which is a cornerstone for developing genuine empathy and compassion. These are skills that will serve them throughout their lives, helping them build stronger relationships and navigate the world with greater understanding.
It sounds like small, consistent efforts in these areas can lead to big, long-term benefits. It's not about perfection, but about a mindful, compassionate approach.
Absolutely. It's about connection. Next episode, the magic of positive language, words that build up.
Thanks for listening.
Welcome back. Last time, we dove into the building blocks of compassion, focusing on active listening and recognizing emotions. Today, we're stepping into what I like to call the magic of positive language. It's all about the words we use and how they can truly build up our children.
I love this topic, Alex. It feels so practical. We're not just talking about saying good job anymore, right? It's deeper than that.
Exactly, Lisa. Good job is fine, but it's often a surface level compliment. Positive language goes deeper. It's about choosing words that genuinely acknowledge effort, build confidence, and encourage a growth mindset. Think of it as consciously using our words to nurture a child's inner strength and resilience.
So, instead of just praising the outcome, we should praise the process?
Precisely. Let's say your child completes a challenging puzzle. Instead of just saying, "Wow, you finished it. Good job." You could try something like, "I saw how focused you were working on that puzzle. You really stuck with it. Even when some pieces were tricky." That persistence is fantastic.
Ah, I see the difference. That acknowledges their effort and their focus, not just the fact that it's done. It highlights how they achieved it.
You've got it. And when we focus on effort and strategy, we're subtly teaching them that their hard work is what leads to success, not just innate talent. This is the essence of a growth mindset, the belief that abilities can be developed through dedication and hard work. When kids believe this, they're more likely to embrace challenges, learn from mistakes, and persevere.
That's so important. It helps them see challenges not as roadblocks, but as opportunities to learn something new.
Yes. Now, another powerful aspect of positive language is reframing. Sometimes, our children face difficulties, and their immediate reaction might be frustration or disappointment. Our words can help them see things from a different, more constructive perspective.
Can you give me an example of reframing?
Imagine a child is upset because they didn't get picked for a particular role in a school play. A common response might be, "Oh, that's too bad." But with reframing, we can gently steer their perspective. You could say, "I know you really wanted that part. It's okay to feel disappointed. But think about all the amazing talents you have that we can celebrate. Perhaps you can still support the play in other ways, or maybe this experience will help you focus on building different skills for next time."
That's a great example. It validates their feelings first, which is key, but then it opens them up to other possibilities and helps them focus on what they can do rather than what they can't. It shifts the focus from loss to opportunity.
Exactly. And it's not about dismissing their feelings, but guiding them towards a more empowered outlook. We want our children to be resilient, and positive language is a tool for building that resilience. It also helps them develop a more positive inner dialogue. If they constantly hear encouraging, effort-focused language from us, they're more likely to internalize that and speak to themselves that way.
That makes a lot of sense. They learn how to talk to themselves by how we talk to them. What about constructive feedback? That can be tricky. You want to help them improve without making them feel they've failed.
Constructive feedback is where positive language really shines. The classic approach might be pointing out what's wrong, but a more positive and effective way is to sandwich the feedback. You start with something positive, then offer the area for improvement, and end with another positive or an encouraging statement about their ability.
The compliment sandwich. I've heard of that.
It's a classic for a reason. So, if a child's drawing needs a little adjustment, instead of saying, "The sky is too dark," you could say, "I love the bright colors you used in the meadow here. It's so vibrant." For the sky, perhaps we could think about adding some lighter blues or even some clouds to make it pop even more. It's going to look amazing.
Okay, I love that. It validates their creativity first, suggests an improvement in a gentle way, and then reinforces their ability. It makes the feedback feel like collaboration rather than criticism.
Precisely. And by using words that build confidence, we create an environment where children feel seen, heard, and valued. This is crucial for their self-esteem and their willingness to take risks and try new things. When children feel safe and supported by our words, they are more open to learning and growing.
So, to recap, Alex, positive language isn't just about praise. It's about 1. Acknowledging effort and process over just the outcome. 2. Reframing challenges to foster a growth mindset and resilience. And 3. Offering constructive feedback in a way that builds confidence.
That's a perfect summary, Lisa. These are powerful techniques that can transform how our children see themselves and the world around them. By being mindful of our words, we are actively shaping their inner dialogue and their outlook on life.
It really highlights that our words have a lasting impact on their developing minds and hearts. It's about fostering a sense of capability and self-worth through every interaction.
Absolutely. And as we continue this journey of raising kind kids, remember that the language we use is one of our most potent tools. It's a daily practice, and the more we focus on it, the more natural and impactful it becomes.
So, in essence, we're teaching them to be their own best cheerleaders by being theirs first.
Exactly. And that's a gift that keeps on giving.
Fantastic. So, what's next for us on Raise Kind Kids?
Next episode, navigating big feelings, handling tantrums, and frustration.
Oh, that's a big one. Can't wait.
Welcome back to Raise Kind Kids. Last time, we explored the power of positive language. Now let's tackle navigating big feelings.
Oh, the dreaded tantrum. It's something I think every parent experiences, and it can be so tough to handle in the moment.
Absolutely, Lisa. It's a completely normal part of childhood development. Young children are still learning to manage their emotions and don't yet have the language or coping skills to express intense feelings like frustration or anger calmly. Tantrums are often a sign their emotional cup is overflowing.
So, it's not necessarily that they're trying to be manipulative, but rather that they're overwhelmed?
Exactly. Think of it like this. Imagine you have a really stressful day and you come home exhausted. If someone then asks you to do something unexpected, you might snap. Children experience similar overwhelm, but their brains are less developed for self-regulation. Their tantrum is their way of saying, I can't handle this right now.
That makes so much sense. It's about co-regulation, right? Helping them manage their feelings when they can't do it themselves.
Precisely. And this ties directly back to what we discussed in episode 2 about emotional recognition. The first step in helping a child navigate big feelings is acknowledging those feelings. Instead of saying, stop crying, there's nothing to be upset about. We want to say something like, I see you're really upset because you can't have another cookie. It's frustrating when you want something and can't have it.
That verbal acknowledgement seems so important. It validates their experience.
It truly does. It helps them feel understood, which can often de-escalate the situation faster than anything else. Once they're a little calmer, we can start teaching them specific coping mechanisms. We need to give them tools to use when those big feelings bubble up.
What kinds of tools are we talking about?
Simple things, really. For younger children, it might be deep breaths, teaching them to pretend to smell a flower and blow out a candle. You can make it a game. For slightly older children, it could be finding a quiet space to calm down, drawing their feelings, or squeezing a stress ball. The key is to practice these strategies when they're not upset, so they're familiar when they need them.
So, we're building a toolkit of calm down techniques. I like that. And you mentioned frustration. That's a big one, especially when they're trying to do something and can't, like building a tower that keeps falling.
Yes, frustration is a very common trigger for outbursts. When a child is struggling with a task, instead of stepping in immediately to fix it, try offering support from the sidelines. You can say, this looks tricky. What do you think about trying it this way? Or would you like a hand with that bit? This teaches them problem solving and that it's okay to ask for help, rather than collapsing into a tantrum.
That's a great way to reframe it from a feeling of failure to a problem solving opportunity. It also empowers them.
Definitely. And when a tantrum does happen, it's crucial to remain calm yourself. This is called co-regulation. You're the calm anchor in their storm. If we get equally upset, we're just adding fuel to the fire. Sometimes, the best thing to do is to stay nearby, ensuring their safety and offering a calm presence until they start to regain control.
It's so hard to stay calm when they're screaming and flailing, though. What if we feel our own frustration rising?
That's where self-awareness comes in. Recognize your own triggers. If you feel yourself getting overwhelmed, take a deep breath yourself. You might need to step away for a moment, if possible, to reset. It's not abandonment. It's taking a moment to be the best support you can be. You can also remind yourself that this is a phase, and your calm response is teaching them valuable life skills.
So, the steps are acknowledge and validate their feelings, offer comfort and a calm presence, and then, once they've calmed a bit, introduce or practice those coping tools we talked about.
Exactly. And remember, consistency is key. The more you practice these strategies, the more effectively your child will learn to manage their big feelings. Over time, they'll start to recognize their own emotional cues and employ their coping strategies before a full-blown tantrum erupts. We're essentially teaching them emotional intelligence, piece by piece.
It's a slow process, but so rewarding. I also think it's important to differentiate between a tantrum and a child who is genuinely hurt or scared.
That's a very important point, Lisa. Tantrums are usually driven by frustration, unmet desires, or overwhelm. If a child is crying because they've genuinely hurt themselves or are scared, The response is immediate comfort and addressing the safety concern. The key difference is the underlying emotion. However, the core principle of responding with empathy and support remains the same.
It sounds like we're building resilience in our children, teaching them that difficult emotions are manageable and they have the tools and support to get through them.
That's precisely the goal. By helping them navigate these challenging moments constructively, we're not just stopping tantrums. We're equipping them with the emotional regulation skills they'll need throughout their lives. They learn that their feelings are valid, that they can be expressed in acceptable ways, and that they can overcome difficult emotional states.
So, to recap for our listeners, tantrums and frustration are normal childhood expressions of overwhelming emotions. Our role is to stay calm, validate their feelings, provide a safe space for them to express themselves, and then practice specific coping strategies when they're ready. We are their co-regulators, teaching them how to regulate themselves.
A perfect summary, Lisa. Remember, these moments, however difficult, are incredible opportunities to strengthen your connection with your child and teach them vital emotional skills. By responding with empathy and patience, we can turn these challenging times into powerful learning experiences, fostering their emotional well-being and resilience.
And that's so important for raising kind kids who understand themselves and others.
Next episode, Empathy in Action, fun activities to spark compassion. Welcome back. Last time, we talked about navigating big feelings.
Today, we're exploring fun activities to spark compassion and understanding.
Absolutely. Play is a powerful tool. Our first idea involves role-playing. Set up a scenario where one child is a shy new student and the other is a friendly classmate. Provide simple props and encouraging words.
So, they literally step into someone else's shoes. That helps them experience different emotions firsthand.
Exactly. Adapt it to any situation. Perhaps one child pretends to have dropped ice cream and the other offers comfort. Encourage them to ask, "How would I feel if that happened to me?"
That's a great connection. How about storytelling?
Storytelling is a goldmine. Read books with diverse characters and emotions. After reading, ask questions, how did the character feel, or what could have helped them?
Actively engaging with the narrative, not just listening. Crucial.
Precisely. Encourage them to create their own stories. Give prompts like, imagine you found a lost puppy. What would you do? How would the puppy feel? This empowers them. They can draw pictures too.
Drawing and art are wonderful for expressing emotions. What art activities work well?
Art bypasses words. Try feeling faces. Ask children to draw different emotions. Happy, sad, angry, surprised. Talk about what makes people feel those ways,
So straightforward, yet effective. Visually connecting expression to emotion.
right? Another idea is kindness collages. Give them old magazines and ask them to cut out pictures of people helping or things that feel happy and cared for. Glue them onto a poster board. It becomes a tangible representation of kindness.
Kids will love looking for pictures and sharing. It's interactive and visual. What about physical activity?
Use games. Empathy charades is a simple, powerful one. Children act out emotions or scenarios where empathy is needed. One child pretends to be sad because they missed the bus, and the other guesses the feeling and offers comfort.
That sounds fun. Practicing expressing and recognizing emotions physically.
Absolutely. Another game is what's in the box. Put different objects in a box. Have children reach in and describe how it feels. Then, ask them to imagine how someone else might feel playing with it. This encourages them to consider different perspectives.
A lovely way to get them thinking imaginatively about others' experiences. So, to recap, Role playing, storytelling, art projects like feeling faces and kindness collages, and games like empathy charades and what's in the box. Tangible ways to bring empathy to life.
You got it. The goal isn't perfection. It's about creating opportunities to practice. Small moments of understanding have a significant impact. When children recognize emotions in others, they respond with kindness. They understand their actions affect others.
That's the core of raising kind kids. Building emotional intelligence from a young age. These activities make it enjoyable.
Exactly. Feel free to adapt them. Observe your child and build on their interests. The more you weave these into everyday life, the more naturally empathy becomes part of their character. It's about consistently showing kindness and encouraging them to practice it. We're teaching them to do good.
A perfect way to put it. These practical, fun activities help children develop into compassionate individuals.
We've covered role-playing, storytelling, art, and games. These active, engaging methods embed empathy in our children.
To sum up, role playing helps children experience different perspectives, storytelling and art encourage emotional recognition, and games make practicing compassion fun. These are hands on strategies for turning our intention into action.
Moving forward, we'll explore inspiring volunteerism, even for our youngest children.
Next episode: Little Hands, Big Hearts, Inspiring Volunteerism.
Welcome back. Last time we explored fantastic empathy-building activities. Now, let's inspire volunteerism in our children.
How do we introduce volunteering to young children with short attention spans?
Make it age-appropriate and fun. For very young children, involve them in decorating a donation box with drawings. Let them decide what to put in it, like outgrown toys or warm clothing for a drive. This hands-on process is their first step into giving.
So, it's about making it hands on and visually engaging? What about elementary school age?
For them, introduce direct helping. Local animal shelters often welcome young volunteers to make toys or help with laundry, teaching responsibility and care for living creatures. Community cleanup events are also great. It's active, outdoors, and they see the immediate impact on the neighborhood.
I love the community cleanup idea. It's so concrete. They see the park looking better because of their efforts, connecting their actions to a positive outcome.
Exactly. It fosters pride in their community. Discuss why they're helping. Ask how it felt to assist animals or how much nicer the park looks now. This connects the action with empathy and recognizes the impact on others.
So, connecting the doing with the feeling and the understanding. What else?
Consider food banks or soup kitchens. Young children can help sort non-perishable food or pack toiletries. The focus is on tangible contribution and ensuring everyone has what they need. Children can also assemble care packages for the homeless or deployed soldiers, connecting them to people they might not otherwise encounter.
It sounds like these activities broaden their perspective, helping them see beyond their own needs and experiences.
Absolutely. Volunteerism cultivates empathy and understanding by exposing children to different people and challenges. It helps them see they have the power to make a positive difference, which is incredibly empowering and provides a sense of purpose as they grow.
And it teaches valuable life skills like teamwork and problem solving.
Precisely. When children volunteer with others, they learn to collaborate and work towards a common goal. They also learn resilience. Pushing through a challenging activity builds character. Plus, it models the behavior you want to see.
Modeling is crucial. What if parents are hesitant or unsure where to find opportunities?
Start with your local community center or library for information on local charities. Online volunteer matching websites are also helpful. Don't underestimate asking friends, neighbors, or at your child's school. Word of mouth often leads to rewarding experiences.
So, a little research and openness to different avenues. It doesn't have to be a huge commitment.
Not all. Consistency and intentionality matter. Even an hour or two a month makes a difference. Integrate acts of kindness into your family routine. Remember how empathy is a muscle that needs exercise? Volunteerism gives that empathy muscle a real workout, solidifying the lessons we've discussed.
That's a perfect way to put it. We've covered empathy, active listening, positive language, managing big feelings, and inspiring volunteerism. To recap, when inspiring volunteerism, we should make it age appropriate and fun, focus on tangible actions, connect the doing with the feeling, broaden perspectives, model the behavior, and seek out opportunities.
That's a fantastic summary, Lisa. It's about empowering our children to be agents of positive change. These little hands, guided by big hearts, can truly make the world a kinder place.
It's a wonderful message to end on. Children have so much capacity for good, and it's our role to help them nurture it.
And that brings us to the end of another episode. Next episode, Friendship Foundations, Coaching for Connection. Welcome back to Raise Kind Kids. Last time, we explored how small hands can foster big hearts through volunteering. Today, we're building strong friendships.
Friendships are so important. They're where kids learn so much about navigating the social world. But sometimes, watching your child struggle to make or keep friends can be tough. What are the key foundations we need to help them build?
You're right, Lisa. The very first foundation for any good friendship is understanding how to connect with others. This starts with empathy and kindness. A child who can understand and share the feelings of another is already halfway to being a good friend.
So, it's not just about saying hello or sharing a toy, but really understanding why those actions matter to the other person?
Exactly. We want to coach our children to be mindful of others' emotions. Think about it. If your child sees a friend looking sad, instead of just moving on to the next game, we want them to pause and perhaps ask, "Are you okay?" That simple question, rooted in empathy, can be the start of a stronger connection. This builds the trust needed for any relationship.
That makes sense. So, what are some practical ways we can coach our kids to actively practice this empathy in their friendships?
One fantastic way is to encourage cooperation. Friendships thrive when kids can work together. This could be as simple as building a Lego castle together, where everyone contributes an idea, or playing a team game where they have to coordinate their actions. When children experience the success and fun of cooperating, they learn the value of teamwork and mutual effort.
I love that. It's about experiencing the positive outcomes of working together. What about sharing? That can be a big hurdle for many young children.
Sharing is definitely a key skill, and it often ties back to empathy. We can help by modeling good sharing ourselves and by creating opportunities for practice. Instead of just telling them to share, we can frame it as, "Your friend really wanted to turn with that truck. Let's let them have a few minutes, and then it will be your turn again." This teaches turn taking and the understanding that others have desires too. It's not about giving things up permanently, but about equitable enjoyment.
Okay, so cooperation and sharing are big pieces. What happens when disagreements inevitably come up? Because they will.
Ah, conflict resolution. This is where the rubber meets the road in friendship. It's inevitable that friends will have different ideas or want different things. Our role as parents and caregivers is to coach them through these moments, not necessarily to solve the problem for them, but to teach them how to solve it.
So we're not jumping in to say, he took the toy, give it back.
Ideally, no. We want to empower them. We can ask guiding questions. If two children are arguing over a toy, we might ask one, "How does it feel when you can't play with the toy you want?" Then, to the other child, "What could you say to your friend to work this out?" Or, Could you suggest playing with something else for a bit? We're encouraging communication and problem solving.
That's a great way to put it, teaching them the tools for conflict resolution. It sounds like we're helping them develop a toolkit for navigating social situations.
Precisely. And within that toolkit, we also want them to understand the importance of being a good friend beyond just resolving conflicts. What does it mean to be a good friend? It means being supportive, being honest, being reliable, and being respectful.
Being supportive. So, if a friend is upset about something, a good friend tries to comfort them or listen without judgment.
Yes. And being reliable means if you say you're going to play at a friend's house at 3 o'clock, you show up. It's about building a reputation as someone your friends can count on and respecting differences, even when they have different opinions or like different games.
It's like building a solid structure, brick by brick. We've talked about empathy, cooperation, sharing, conflict resolution, and what it means to be a supportive and reliable friend. These all seem to contribute to a child's confidence in their social interactions.
Absolutely. When children develop these skills, they feel more secure and capable in their peer relationships. This confidence can carry over into many other areas of their lives, from schoolwork to trying new activities. We are essentially helping them build a positive self-image as someone who can connect and contribute positively to social groups.
So, to recap for our listeners, building friendship foundations involves fostering empathy, encouraging cooperation and sharing, teaching constructive conflict resolution skills, and helping children understand the qualities of being a supportive, reliable, and respectful friend. These are the building blocks for lasting positive relationships.
That's a perfect summary, Lisa. These skills don't always develop overnight, but with consistent coaching and modeling from us, our children can learn to navigate the wonderful and sometimes complex world of friendships with kindness and confidence.
It's empowering for both them and us, isn't it? Knowing we're equipping them with these essential life skills.
It truly is. Next episode, we'll explore strategies for helping our children stand up for others when they see bullying, a crucial extension of the empathy and kindness we're cultivating. Welcome back to Raise Kind Kids. Last time, we explored the foundations of friendship. Now, let's tackle bullying.
Bullying is something many parents worry about, Alex. It can really impact a child's sense of safety and self-worth. How do we equip our kids to not only deal with bullying, but also to be allies for others?
It starts with building a strong foundation within our child. A child who feels confident and valued is less likely to be a target and more likely to have the courage to act when they see something wrong.
So, fostering inner strength is the first step. What does that look like in practice?
It means consistently letting our children know they are loved and capable. It's about praising their effort and their character, not just their achievements. When they understand their inherent worth, they're better equipped to handle external negativity. Remember when we talked about positive language? Using encouraging words like, "I'm proud of how you handled that challenge," or "You're so brave for trying something new," builds that internal resilience.
A child with a strong sense of self is our first line of defense. What's the next piece?
The next piece is teaching them how to be assertive, not aggressive. Aggression is about attacking others, while assertiveness is about respectfully expressing your own needs and boundaries. We can practice this with our kids through role playing.
Role playing sounds like a great way to practice. What kind of scenarios should we use?
We can use everyday situations. Imagine someone is taking their toy without asking. We can guide our child to say, "I am playing with this right now," or "Please ask me before you take my toy." It's about teaching them to use a clear, firm voice and direct eye contact. We want them to understand that it's okay to say no and to ask for space.
So, it's about giving them the language and the confidence to state their boundaries clearly. What about when they witness bullying happening to someone else?
It absolutely can be scary, This is where we empower the bystander. We want to shift the mindset from "it's not my problem" to "I can make a difference." We can teach children that even small acts of kindness can be powerful.
What kinds of small acts are we talking about?
It could be as simple as walking over to the person who is being targeted and saying, "Are you okay?" Or standing next to them, offering silent support. Sometimes, just not letting the person being bullied feel completely alone can make a huge difference. We can also encourage them to tell an adult when they see something concerning. That's not tattling. That's responsible citizenship.
I like that framing. Responsible citizenship. It elevates the act of speaking up. We've talked about building self-worth, teaching assertiveness, and empowering bystanders. What else is crucial in an anti-bullying strategy?
Open communication is absolutely paramount. We need to create a home environment where our children feel safe talking to us about anything, no matter how difficult. Regularly check in with them about their day, their friends, and how they're feeling.
And how do we create that safe space for conversation? Sometimes kids clam up.
It starts with how we react when they do share. If they tell us about a problem, our first instinct shouldn't be to panic or overreact. Instead, we listen calmly, validate their feelings, using those empathy skills we discussed, and then work together to find solutions.
So, it's about listening without judgment and making them feel heard. It's connecting back to emotional recognition. If a child is feeling upset because of something that happened, acknowledging that feeling builds trust.
Exactly. And we also need to talk about what bullying actually is. Sometimes, children might not recognize that an action is bullying, or they might dismiss it as just teasing. We can have age-appropriate discussions about different forms of bullying. Verbal bullying, like name-calling or insults. Social bullying, like excluding someone. And physical bullying, like pushing or hitting.
That's a good point. It's important to be clear about what crosses the line from teasing into bullying. So, we're building self-worth, teaching assertiveness, encouraging bystander intervention, fostering open communication, and defining bullying. It feels like a comprehensive approach.
It is. And by integrating these strategies, we're not just teaching our children how to avoid or respond to bullying. We're nurturing their capacity to be a force for kindness and respect in the world. We're fostering the empathy we've been building all along. When children understand the impact of their words and actions on others, they're naturally more inclined to prevent harm and promote well-being.
It's about empowering them to be upstanders, not just bystanders. To use their voice, their compassion, and their courage to make their school and their community a kinder place.
Precisely. And remember, this is an ongoing conversation. As children grow, their experiences and the challenges they face will evolve. Continuing to reinforce these principles and keeping those lines of communication open is key to their long-term development.
So, to recap for our listeners, we build a strong sense of self-worth in our children, teach them assertiveness and clear boundary setting, encourage them to be active bystanders who support others and speak up, create a safe and open environment for communication, and clearly define what constitutes bullying. All of this is in service of raising children who not only defend themselves and others, but who actively contribute to a kinder world.
That's a perfect summary, Lisa. By equipping our children with these tools, we're helping them navigate the complexities of social interaction and become advocates for fairness and kindness.
It's empowering for both the child experiencing bullying and the child who witnesses it.
Absolutely. And it connects us back to our core mission, raising kids who lead with kindness.
Next episode, we'll explore cultivating thankfulness with the gratitude garden.
Welcome back to Raise Kind Kids. Last time, we explored how to help our children stand up for others. Now, we're planting the seeds for thankfulness.
Beautiful metaphor, Alex. Gratitude needs nurturing like a garden, right? It feels so interconnected with empathy and compassion.
Absolutely. When children appreciate what they have, they become more generous and understanding. It shifts their focus from lack to abundance. A grateful heart is a compassionate heart.
So, how do we practically encourage this? Be grateful is a big concept for kids.
We start with everyday moments. Think of things we take for granted: a warm bed, a meal, a sunny day. Model this appreciation. You might say, "I'm so glad you like it. It's wonderful we have enough to get you something special." Or, "This soup is delicious. I'm so thankful we have good food."
So, we verbalize our own gratitude. It's about recognizing what's good around us, not just saying thanks to someone.
Exactly. And we can make it interactive with a gratitude journal. It could be a simple notebook. Each day, write or draw one or two things you're thankful for.
For younger kids, drawing is perfect. What kinds of things might a child include?
Anything. My fluffy teddy bear, my best friend Maya, the ice cream truck, playing at the park, or that funny cloud. It trains their brain to scan for the good, finding joy in the ordinary.
Like a treasure hunt for happiness.
Precisely. Another fun activity is a gratitude jar. Write things you're grateful for on slips of paper and put them in a jar. Once a week, read a few aloud.
That sounds like a wonderful family ritual. It creates shared reflection and reinforces that everyone's contributions and good things are valued.
It really does. And it's not just about material things. We encourage gratitude for people. Ask, who is someone who helped you today? Or who is someone you appreciate and why?
This is empowering for kids, helping them recognize their support systems and express appreciation.
Absolutely. Practicing gratitude doesn't mean ignoring difficulties. It means acknowledging the good alongside challenges. It builds resilience. When a child looks for what they do have, things they don't have feel less overwhelming.
That's a crucial distinction. It's about balance, adding appreciation to our perspective, not suppressing feelings.
Exactly. This practice naturally leads to generosity. When you feel you have enough, you're more likely to share. Grateful children are often more willing to share their toys, their time, and their kindness.
So, we've covered modeling, journals, jars, and appreciating people. Any other ways to cultivate this?
Yes, create moments of mindful appreciation. Pause during a walk to notice a flower, or take a moment at mealtime to appreciate the food. Thank someone for holding a door. Slow down and be present to notice the good.
It's teaching them to be present, but with a focus on the positive.
Precisely. As they get older, gratitude can extend to understanding the efforts of others. When they enjoy a meal, they can appreciate the work that went into growing, preparing, and serving it. This fosters deeper connection and understanding.
This ties back to empathy and compassion. Appreciating what others do helps you understand their experiences.
It's all connected. Cultivating thankfulness shifts a child's internal dialogue from "what am I missing" to "what do I have and how can I share it?" It fosters abundance, contentment, and generosity. It's a lifelong skill that brings happiness and contributes to a more compassionate world.
So, to recap, we can model gratitude, use gratitude journals and jars, appreciate people and everyday moments, and help children understand the effort behind what they enjoy. It's about nurturing that inner garden of thankfulness to bloom into generosity and well being.
That's a perfect summary, Lisa. And remember, it's a practice. Consistent effort yields beautiful results. Next episode: Worlds Apart, Hearts Connected, Embracing Cultural Sensitivity. Welcome back to Raise Kind Kids. Today, we explore embracing cultural sensitivity.
It's so exciting to talk about this, Alex. Our world is such a beautiful patchwork of different cultures, And teaching our kids to appreciate that diversity is key to raising truly kind and empathetic human beings.
Absolutely, Lisa. Think about it. Our children are growing up in a world that's more connected than ever. They'll interact with people from all walks of life, and understanding and respecting different cultures isn't just a nice to have, it's essential. It's about building bridges, not walls.
So, where do we even begin? When we talk about teaching cultural sensitivity, what does that actually look like for parents?
It starts with us, doesn't it? Our own attitudes and curiosity. If we show genuine interest in other cultures, our children will pick up on that. It's about approaching the world with a sense of wonder, not judgment. We can introduce our kids to different foods, music, stories, and traditions from around the globe.
I love that idea of starting with simple, everyday things. So, instead of a grand lesson, it's more about weaving it into our life, like trying a new cuisine one night or listening to music from another country.
Exactly. Imagine this. You're cooking dinner. Instead of just making your usual meal, you decide to try a recipe from a different country. You can talk about where the recipe comes from, what ingredients are commonly used there, and maybe even learn a few simple words in that language. It makes learning fun and tangible.
That's a fantastic way to anchor it. And it's not just about tasting new things, right? It's also about understanding different ways of life.
Precisely. Books and media are incredibly powerful tools here. Reading stories from diverse authors, or books that feature characters from different backgrounds, can open up whole new worlds for our children. They can see themselves reflected or see others who are different from them and learn to empathize.
That makes so much sense. When a child can connect with a character, even if that character looks or lives differently, it fosters that understanding. It's like saying, even though we're different, we share feelings and experiences.
And that brings us to a crucial point: debunking stereotypes. Children, like all of us, can absorb biases from the world around them. It's our job to gently challenge those stereotypes as they arise. If a child says something like, people from X country always do Y, we can calmly explain that everyone is an individual and generalizations aren't fair or accurate.
That can be a delicate conversation, though. How do we address stereotypes without making the child feel bad about what they said?
It's about focusing on the impact of words and actions. We can say something like, that's an interesting thought, but people are very different. Some people from X country might do Y, but many others don't. It's always best to get to know someone as an individual before assuming things. We want to encourage critical thinking and compassion.
So it's about curiosity and individuality. I also think about travel, even if it's just to a different part of our own city or state. Experiencing different neighborhoods or communities can be eye-opening.
Oh, absolutely. Even local experiences can broaden horizons. Visiting a cultural festival, attending a community event that celebrates diversity, or even just exploring different parts of your town can expose children to a wider range of people and traditions. It's about actively seeking out those opportunities to learn.
And as they grow, we can encourage them to learn more about their own heritage and the heritage of people they know. It's a two-way street, celebrating their own background while respecting others.
That's a beautiful way to put it, Lisa. When children understand and feel proud of their own roots, they often have a greater capacity to appreciate the roots of others. This connection between understanding oneself and understanding others is so important. It builds a strong sense of identity alongside a welcoming spirit.
So, to recap broadly, we're encouraging our children to be curious about the world, to embrace differences with respect, to learn through stories and experiences, and to challenge stereotypes with open minds.
That's a perfect summary. It's a continuous journey, of course. We're not expecting our kids to be anthropologists overnight. It's about fostering a lifelong appreciation for the rich tapestry of humanity. And this, in turn, strengthens their empathy. When they understand different perspectives, they can better connect with the feelings of others, no matter their background.
It truly is about creating that ripple effect of kindness, isn't it? Starting with cultural sensitivity helps build deeper empathy connections.
It really does. And that's what Raise Kind Kids is all about. We're equipping them with the tools to navigate a diverse world with grace and understanding.
This has been such an inspiring conversation, Alex. Thank you for sharing these practical ways to embrace cultural sensitivity.
My pleasure, Lisa. Next episode, we'll be looking at the empathy ripple effect and how the kindness we nurture in our children can spread throughout the family. Welcome back. Last time, we explored how to embrace cultural sensitivity and understand different perspectives. Now, let's tackle the heart of the home, the family. This episode is all about the empathy ripple effect and how kindness within your family creates waves that reach far beyond.
That's such a powerful idea, Alex, the ripple effect. It makes sense that the first place we learn about kindness, about empathy, is often from the people we live with every day. It's like dropping a little pebble of kindness into the water of our family life and watching those ripples spread.
Exactly, Lisa. And the most profound way to teach these values to our children is through modeling. Children are like sponges. They absorb behavior, attitudes, and responses from their parents and caregivers. If they see you extending empathy, understanding, and patience towards them and other family members, that becomes their blueprint.
So, it's not just about what we say to our kids about being kind, but what we show them. For instance, when a sibling is upset, instead of just telling the other child to stop bothering them, we can model a response like, I see Sarah is feeling sad right now. Maybe we can ask her what's wrong or give her some space.
Precisely. It's about demonstrating active listening within the family. When your partner or child is upset, putting down your phone, making eye contact, and truly hearing their feelings without immediately jumping to solutions or judgments. This shows them that their emotions are valid and that they are truly heard. Remember how we talked about active listening in an earlier episode? It's absolutely crucial here.
Yes, that makes perfect sense. And what about when conflicts inevitably arise in families? It's easy for tempers to flare. How do we model grace in those moments?
Conflict resolution is a golden opportunity for teaching empathy. Instead of seeing arguments as something to be avoided, we can reframe them as chances to practice understanding. This means encouraging each family member to express their feelings using I statements like, I feel hurt when, rather than you always, and then actively trying to understand the other person's perspective.
Ah, the classic speak for yourself approach. So, instead of you made me angry, it's I felt angry when this happened. That helps de escalate things and focuses on the individual's experience.
Exactly. And it's also about apologizing sincerely when we've made a mistake. Children learn that it's okay to be imperfect and that taking responsibility and repairing relationships is a vital part of being human. A genuine, I'm sorry, I was wrong can do wonders.
That's a big one. Admitting fault can be hard, but seeing a parent do it gracefully teaches children so much about humility and accountability. What else contributes to this kind, empathetic family environment?
Celebrating each other's successes is incredibly important. When one family member achieves something, big or small, genuine enthusiasm and shared joy from the others create a positive atmosphere. This isn't just about saying good job. It's about showing genuine pride and delight in their accomplishment.
So, if one child gets an A on a test, or another child learns to ride their bike, we make a point of celebrating that. We don't let it just pass by. That creates a sense of mutual support and encouragement. It's like building each other up.
Precisely. This positive reinforcement strengthens family bonds. When children feel seen, supported, and celebrated within their family, they feel more secure. This security then makes them more likely to extend that same kindness and empathy outwards to their friends, their school, and their community. It's a direct link.
It's like a warm, nurturing ecosystem within the home that prepares them for the wider world. So, think about it. When you practice empathy with your spouse, your children are watching. When you speak kindly to your sibling, your children are listening. When you celebrate your child's efforts, they feel valued. All of these small, consistent actions create a powerful ripple effect.
And this ripple effect isn't limited to just emotional responses. It influences how family members interact, how they approach problems together, and how they support one another through challenges. A family that consistently practices empathy and kindness is a resilient unit.
Resilient. I like that. It means they can weather storms together. It's about building not just polite children, but truly compassionate human beings who understand and care about others.
Absolutely. And one practical way to foster this is through shared family activities that inherently involve empathy. For example, reading stories together that explore different characters' emotions, or even engaging in simple acts of service as a family. Helping a neighbor, volunteering for a cause, or even just preparing a meal for someone who is ill.
That's fantastic. Doing things together that have a positive impact on others really solidifies those lessons. It moves from abstract concept to tangible action. My mind goes back to our episode on volunteering. Doing that as a family makes it even more powerful.
It does. And remember, this is a continuous process. It's not about achieving perfection overnight. It's about consistent effort, open communication, and a shared commitment to creating a loving and understanding home environment. The more we intentionally cultivate empathy within our families, the more naturally it will extend outwards.
So, to recap this powerful idea, modeling empathetic behavior, practicing active listening, resolving conflicts with grace, sincerely apologizing, and celebrating each other's successes are all key components. These actions strengthen family bonds and equip children with the skills and disposition to spread kindness to the wider world. It truly is about kindness starting at home and rippling out. Thanks for listening. Next episode, Growing Up Kind, continued learning and support.
Welcome back. Last time we covered the empathy ripple effect. Now let's tackle growing up kind.
That's right, Alex. It's so important to remember that what works for a toddler might not work for a teenager. As our kids grow, their understanding of the world, their emotional landscape, and their social interactions all change. So, how do we keep that empathy engine running and adapt our strategies?
Great question, Lisa. It all comes down to a few core principles, but with a flexible approach. First, we need to continuously nurture those foundational skills we've talked about throughout this series. Active listening, perspective taking, and emotional recognition. These skills don't just disappear after early childhood.
So, even if your child is now debating you on world events, the ability to listen without interrupting and to try and understand another person's viewpoint is still crucial. Instead of just telling them to be nice, we're guiding them on how to be nice in more complex situations.
Exactly. Think about active listening. For a young child, it might be paraphrasing what they said about their toy. For an older child, it's listening to their frustrations about a peer at school or even a disagreement with you without immediately jumping in with solutions or judgment. It sounds like, I hear you're really upset because your friend said X. Tell me more about how that felt.
That's a subtle but powerful shift. It's not about dismissing their feelings, but about validating them and encouraging them to articulate them. And perspective taking. How does that evolve?
Perspective taking becomes more nuanced. Instead of just asking, how would you feel if someone took your toy? We can ask, why do you think Sarah reacted that way when you said that? What might have been going on for her? This encourages them to consider underlying motivations and external factors. It's about moving from a simple quid pro quo to a more complex understanding of human behavior.
It's like moving from a black and white drawing to a full color painting with all sorts of shades and textures. And emotional recognition? That's not just about identifying happy or sad anymore, is it?
Absolutely not. Older children and teens experience a wider spectrum of emotions, and they might not even have the words for them. We can help by continuing to label feelings and also by discussing how different emotions manifest. I notice you're clenching your fists and your voice is tight. Are you feeling angry or maybe frustrated? This helps them build a richer emotional vocabulary.
And this is where open communication becomes even more vital, especially for those tougher topics. We can't shy away from discussing things like peer pressure, social media interactions, or even the news. How do we approach those conversations with kindness and empathy as our guide?
The key is to create a safe space for dialogue. It's not about lecturing, but about exploring together. Start by asking open-ended questions. What are your thoughts on what happened at school today? Or I saw that post online. What did you make of it? Listen more than you speak. Try to understand their perspective before offering yours.
And it's okay if they don't agree with us, right? The goal isn't necessarily to get them to adopt our exact viewpoint, but to ensure they're thinking critically and compassionately about the situation.
Precisely. And when discussing difficult topics, like social issues or conflicts, we can frame it through the lens of empathy. How might the people involved in this situation be feeling? Were different ways someone could have responded that would have shown more understanding? It reinforces that empathy isn't just a warm, fuzzy feeling. It's an active choice in how we interact with the world.
This reminds me of the importance of modeling. Our children are always watching, especially as they get older and might be less inclined to ask directly for advice. They're observing how we handle challenging conversations with them, with our partners, or even when we're talking about other people.
Modeling is paramount. It's about demonstrating empathy in our own lives. When we have a disagreement, how do we resolve it? When we make a mistake, how do we apologize? When we see someone struggling, what do we do? Our actions will always speak louder than our words. This also includes how we talk about ourselves.
Ah, yes. Parental self-care. That might sound counterintuitive when we're talking about nurturing kindness in our kids, but it's so directly linked. If we're burnout and stressed, it's much harder to be an empathetic parent.
It's the oxygen mask analogy. You have to put on your own oxygen mask before you can help others. When we prioritize our well-being, we're not being selfish. We're building our capacity to be present, patient, and empathetic. That might mean setting boundaries, taking time for ourselves, or seeking support. It allows us to return to our parenting with renewed energy and a clearer mind.
And when we're feeling more balanced, we're better equipped to handle those moments when our children aren't kind. We can respond more thoughtfully rather than reactively.
Absolutely. So, to recap our discussion on continued learning and support, we're constantly reinforcing core empathy skills like active listening and perspective taking, adapting them to our child's age and stage. We're fostering open communication, especially on difficult topics, by creating a safe space for dialogue and exploring situations through an empathetic lens. And critically, we're modeling these behaviors ourselves and prioritizing our own self-care, which fuels our ability to parent with kindness and patience.
It's a continuous process of growth, not just for our children, but for us as parents too. It's so encouraging to know that these efforts create a lasting positive impact.
It truly is. And as we look toward our final episodes, we'll be reflecting on how all these pieces fit together to create a legacy of kindness in our families and communities. Next episode, Our Kind Kids Legacy, putting it all together. Welcome back to Raise Kind Kids. Let's talk about keeping kindness growing.
Yes, Alex. We've discussed ongoing support and guidance for children's development. It's a continuous journey.
And today, in episode 13, we're bringing it all together. We're at the culmination of our series, focusing on building a lasting legacy of kindness through our children. It's about taking everything we've learned and understanding its profound impact.
Putting it all together. I love that title. It feels like a grand finale, a chance to really see how all those building blocks create something amazing.
Exactly. We've covered so much ground, from the foundational importance of empathy and compassion to practical tools like active listening and positive language. We've tackled challenging situations like tantrums and bullying and celebrated the joy of gratitude and cultural understanding.
It's true. We started with the why empathy matters so much. Remember our first episode? We explored how understanding and sharing the feelings of others is the bedrock of all strong relationships and a compassionate society.
And then we moved to the how. We broke down compassion into actionable steps. Active listening, for example, isn't just about hearing words. It's about truly understanding the speaker's perspective and emotions. It's a skill that takes practice, but oh, how it strengthens connections.
And don't forget the power of positive language. We learned how the words we use, both to our children and with them, can either build them up or tear them down. Phrases like, I see you're feeling frustrated, can open doors to discussion, rather than shutting them down with stop crying.
That's a perfect example, Lisa, of how we've learned to navigate those big feelings. Handling tantrums and frustration is a huge part of parenting, and we equipped listeners with strategies to respond calmly and supportively, fostering emotional regulation rather than just demanding compliance.
And the fun didn't stop there. We explored empathy in action with creative activities, showing parents how to make learning about compassion engaging and enjoyable. From role playing scenarios to simple kindness challenges, these activities embed these values in a child's everyday life.
We even looked at how to inspire volunteerism and a sense of community contribution from a young age. Little hands can do big things, and teaching children the value of helping others fosters a lifelong commitment to making a positive impact.
Friendship foundations were another key area. Coaching kids on how to build healthy, respectful friendships, how to resolve conflicts peacefully, and how to be a good friend themselves. That's crucial for social well being.
And then there was episode 8, the anti-bullying strategies. Standing up for others, learning to recognize and address unfairness. These are vital lessons for creating a safe and inclusive environment for everyone.
The gratitude garden. What a beautiful metaphor. Cultivating thankfulness, appreciating what we have, and expressing it. It shifts focus from what's lacking to the abundance already present in our lives. It's such a powerful mindset shift.
Then we broadened our perspective even further with episode 10, embracing cultural sensitivity, understanding and appreciating the diversity of the world around us, recognizing that our own experiences aren't the only ones. This builds bridges, not walls.
And we brought it home with episode 11, the empathy ripple effect within the family. How kindness shown within the home strengthens family bonds and serves as the primary model for all other interactions.
Finally, in our episode before this one, we discussed continued learning and support, recognizing that raising kind kids isn't a destination, but an ongoing process of growth for both children and parents. It's about creating a supportive environment for that continued development.
So, putting it all together, Alex, what does this legacy of kindness truly mean? It means we're raising children who are not just good at academics or sports, but are fundamentally good human beings. Children who understand themselves and others, who communicate with respect, and who contribute positively to the world.
It means equipping them with the inner tools to navigate life's challenges with resilience and compassion. It's about cultivating emotional intelligence, a deep well of empathy, and a strong moral compass. This is the foundation for well-adjusted, happy individuals and a more harmonious society.
And the beauty of this approach is that it's not a burden. It's a joyful, rewarding process. When we focus on raising kind kids, we're not just benefiting them, we're benefiting ourselves and the entire community. It's a profound way to live.
Precisely. This consistent focus, woven through everyday interactions, creates a powerful ripple effect. Children who learn empathy at home are more likely to show it in their schools, their friendships, and eventually in their own families and workplaces. They become agents of positive change.
It's about intentional parenting, isn't it? Recognizing that our words, our actions, and our modeling are constantly shaping the people our children become. It's a mindful, loving approach that yields incredible results.
Indeed, this series has been a journey of discovery, practical advice, and shared commitment. We've shown that raising kind kids isn't about perfection, but about progress, connection, and unwavering love. Every episode has offered a piece of the puzzle, and today we see the full, beautiful picture.
It's inspiring to think about the impact this can have, not just on individual families, but on the future. Children raised with these values are the ones who will build a better world.
This has been an incredible series, and we're so grateful you've joined us. Remember, the journey continues long after this episode. Keep practicing, keep connecting, and keep nurturing that kindness in your children and in yourselves.
Thank you for being part of Raise Kind Kids. We've learned so much together. Thanks for listening.
Welcome back to Raise Kind Kids. This is the final episode of our series.
Exactly, Alex. We've built this amazing foundation for our children, teaching them to understand and care about others. Now, let's explore how that ripple effect extends out into our communities and the world at large.
Think about it, Lisa. Every child we raise with empathy is a potential force for good. When kids learn to recognize and appreciate different perspectives, they become more understanding. This understanding is the bedrock of a more peaceful and cooperative society.
That's so true. We've talked about active listening and really trying to step into someone else's shoes. When children practice those skills consistently, they naturally become less likely to judge and more inclined to connect with people who might seem different from them. It breaks down barriers.
Precisely. And that connects directly to our discussion on embracing cultural sensitivity. Teaching our kids about the vast diversity of the human experience and encouraging them to approach it with curiosity and respect is crucial for global harmony. When we foster that in our children, we're essentially planting seeds of international understanding.
I remember we also talked about the empathy ripple effect in the family. How kindness starts at home, with how siblings interact, how parents and children communicate. It's like a practice ground. The habits of kindness and compassion they develop within the family are the very same ones they'll take out into the world.
Absolutely. And remember our strategies for teaching kids to stand up for others, to be an upstander rather than a bystander. This is a direct way they can impact their school and local community. They learn that their voice matters and that they have the power to protect those who are vulnerable.
That's such a powerful lesson. It's not just about being nice, it's about actively choosing to do the right thing, even when it's difficult. And as we've seen throughout many episodes, like our discussion on volunteerism, small acts of kindness can have a significant impact on the lives of others.
Indeed, children who are encouraged to volunteer, even in small ways, learn that they can make a tangible difference. Whether it's helping at an animal shelter, assisting a neighbor, or participating in a community cleanup, they gain a sense of agency and a deeper understanding of the needs of others. This builds a lifelong commitment to service.
And it's not just about grand gestures. The gratitude we cultivated, the simple act of saying thank you and truly appreciating what we have, also contributes to a more positive outlook in the world. When we teach our children to be thankful, they are less likely to be driven by entitlement and more inclined to share and contribute.
That's a brilliant point, Lisa. Thankfulness fosters generosity, and generosity, at its core, is about contributing to the well-being of others. So, when we teach our children to be grateful for their own blessings, we're also equipping them to share those blessings, in whatever form they take, with the wider world.
It all ties back together so beautifully. From active listening and positive language to navigating big feelings and building friendships, every single skill we've discussed in this series is a tool for positive social change. We're not just raising kids, we're raising future citizens, future leaders, future problem solvers.
That's ultimately the goal, isn't it? To raise children who will actively contribute to a more just, equitable, and compassionate world. It's about empowering them with the emotional intelligence and the moral compass to navigate complex social issues and to advocate for what is right.
So, to recap our journey, we started with the foundational importance of empathy, moved through the building blocks like active listening and positive language, learned to handle challenging emotions, and explored practical ways to put compassion into action through activities, volunteerism, and friendship. We've addressed standing up for others, cultivating gratitude, embracing diversity, and strengthening family bonds.
And we've emphasized that this is a continuous process of learning and support. This isn't a one-time lesson, it's a lifelong practice. The discussions about our legacy were all about consolidating these lessons and recognizing their enduring value.
It feels like coming full circle. Everything we've covered, from the smallest interaction between siblings to the grand vision of global understanding, is about nurturing hearts that are open, kind, and ready to make a positive difference.
This is our chance as parents and caregivers to truly be architects of a better future. By intentionally fostering empathy and compassion in our children, we are indirectly shaping the world they and future generations will inherit. It requires patience, consistency, and a deep belief in the goodness that lies within every child.
This series has been such an incredible exploration. It's a powerful reminder that raising kind kids isn't just about good behavior, it's about cultivating the very best of humanity. And that has a profound and lasting impact on the world, far beyond anything we might imagine.
So, as we conclude Raise Kind Kids, remember that every interaction, every lesson, every moment of connection is an opportunity to reinforce these values. You are doing important work. Keep nurturing those kind hearts, and you'll be contributing to a brighter, more compassionate world for all of us.
Thank you all for joining us on this journey. It's been an honor to share these insights with you.
Thanks for listening to the series.